Hello, and welcome back to My Book of Mormon with me, David Michael. This is episode 20. So before we start today, I actually have a very humble request to make of all of you, and it's something that I didn't think I was going to have to do, but it's reached a point where I have to do it. So I'm going to, I want to read a letter to all of the MIMOs that I drafted that kind of explains what it is that I'm asking for and why I'm asking for it. So, without further ado, here we go. Dear MIMOs, when I first decided to create this podcast, it was always my intent to cover all the expenses associated with the show. So, I paid for the recording equipment, the domain name, the email account, the custom WordPress site, the annual fees for file storage, and even the monthly Spreaker hosting fees. I even paid for the annual license required to use the music I wanted for the show. I also knew the podcast required hosting fees, which I had also planned to cover myself. Essentially, these are the costs for bandwidth needed for episode downloads. The irony of podcasting is that the more successful the show, the higher the hosting fees, because so much more bandwidth is needed for all the downloads. In my wildest dreams, I never imagined that I would have more than a few hundred listeners at most. Frankly, I would have been happy if the subscriber count had hit 100. However, the success of the show since I launched it has completely shocked and amazed me. While I am overwhelmed with appreciation for all of the people that are enjoying the show, there are literally thousands, not hundreds, of subscribers. And the cost per week for keeping the show going is over 10 times what I had anticipated. Before I make my request to you, please believe that I'm not trying to make any kind of profit from doing this show. In fact, I'm not even asking to break even, as I had fully anticipated that there would be costs involved with this project, and I was prepared to pay them. However, due to the immense success of the show, these costs have started to become a major burden on me financially. I therefore humbly ask all MIMOs to consider becoming a patron of the show. I really want to continue this project, and even go on to read Doctrines and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price, or any other Mormon-related things that come my way. But with every additional episode that is uploaded, and for every additional listener that finds the show, the cost for maintaining the show goes up. I know that I'm asking a lot, but please consider becoming a patron by agreeing to pay a fixed amount for every future episode as it is released. Together, we can assure that the show can go on for as long as there are MIMOs that want to hear it. I also know that even though I'm the one producing the show, I honestly don't feel like it's my show anymore. It may have started out as just me, but since then, you MIMOs have become such a major part of what the show is. Hell, you even gave the show a whole new meaning through all of your amazing outreach and feedback. I continue to be amazed by how many of you have helped to contribute to the show. The My Book of Mormon podcast really isn't my show at all anymore. It is now the MIMO show. It's all of ours. It belongs to all of us. Please help me by doing your part to contribute to our show. And never forget, MIMOs rock. So there you go. I'm laying out all my cards for you. It's just reached a point. I went in and checked what the costs were for the hosting fees, and my jaw kind of dropped open, and I said, "Oh my God, this is a lot more than I ever thought it would be." My original calculations for how successful the show would be were wildly off, and so I need your support. And I didn't think I was going to need your support, but I do. And so any of you out there, you can contribute as little as $1 per episode. And if you're willing to help, I will be immensely and eternally grateful. So for any of you out there that have the means to help support the show to assure its continued success, please go to www.patreon.com/mybookofmormonpodcast. That's Patreon is spelled Patreon. So once again, www.patreon.com/mybookofmormonpodcast. There you'll see, you'll be able to pick a amount that you are comfortable contributing to the show. And you'll see that there are different reward levels. I've tried to get somewhat creative about, what we could give to the different patrons of the show. If you have any ideas of something that might be more fun, then certainly let me know. It was just me kind of shooting from the hip, because again, I wasn't planning this, so I kind of had to come up with them on the fly. And I am asking, I'm hoping that if we can get the show, or if we can get the patron contributions up to $100 an episode collectively, then I will feel pretty comfortable that we can keep going for a long time. I shouldn't have to worry about, how much is coming out of my pocket, even if we go on and do Doctrines and Covenants and Pearl of Great Price and whatever you guys want to hear. I want to keep going, but yeah, again, every time you add another episode, that's just more money you have to pay. So it's a way to make sure that this will keep going. Again, I am not trying to make money. I'm not even, like I said, I'm happy to continue to financially support the show. I always knew it would cost money. This is something I wanted to do, and so it was my cost to bear. I just never dreamed the cost would be this high. So I hope you understand. I hope nobody thinks less of me for this, because I've been saying for a long time I wasn't going to ask for money, and here I am doing it. I just didn't expect it. And lastly, if any one of you had, it's like, well, I would have given you money, David, but you told me to give it to the Taylor Scholarship instead. Totally understand, right? That is also a very worthy cause. And if you're torn between giving money to the show or giving money to the scholarship, I would say by default, go to the scholarship. Really. I think that will do more good. But if you're in a place where maybe you thought, hey, I could give $2, maybe one to each, whatever means, whatever you feel right with. I, again, want to thank everyone in advance. And listen, for those of you that are not able to financially contribute, because I know that everyone's situation is different. So if you're not able to financially contribute to the show, there are other ways to show your support, and so many of you already have. Again, been overwhelmed by the amount of Facebook likes, iTunes reviews, Stitcher reviews. I actually recently started in iTunes switching between countries and was amazed. I have reviews all over the place that I didn't even know existed. That was pretty fun to see. So thank you in advance for anyone that decides to become a patron of the show and really help take ownership of this. And thanks to all of you that are unable to contribute financially but are able to contribute in other ways. I want to thank everyone. I really firmly believe that MIMOs are awesome. I'm blown away by all of you, and I hope we can together make sure that we keep going. All right, got that out of the way. I don't know why, I was kind of like dreading this moment. It was once I realized I didn't really have a choice anymore and had to ask, I've been kind of like, oh, how do I ask? And so, okay, it's out of the way, and now we can get back to the meat of this thing. So, all right, back on track. So we are reading, for those that don't know, the Book of Mormon. I'm kidding. We were on Mosiah, right? We're about to start the Book of Mosiah. And it turns out I'm actually pronouncing that one right. The one I really butchered, again, thanks to those of you that help me with my pronunciation. But the one I really butchered was Amaleki. I think I was calling him Amaleki. So whatever. But I think he's done. I think Amaleki/Amaleki is now, he's done. So we have Mosiah now. And I hope it doesn't sound too much like I'm saying Messiah, which is a whole different thing. That's like Jesus, right? Jesus the Messiah. I'm just talking about Mosiah. It was different. Anyway, it's alright. I mean, remember what happened last time? It was weird, because we had, like, just a whole bunch of people like, hey, I got the plates, wrote my name, gave them to my son. Then the son's like, hey, I wrote my name in too, and I'm going to give it to my son. And it's like, oh, I don't have any sons, so I'm going to give them to this random king. You're like, what's going on? And then it, like, jumped ahead, I don't know, 600 years or something, and then all of a sudden it's like, hi, my name's Mormon. And, yeah, I just thought I'd say hi, and then he was done. It was like, what the heck? It was bizarre. So, I'm a little lost. I don't really know. And now we're talking about, the book is Mosiah, but Mosiah was like, he was back in the day when they were like handing the plates down from everybody. And he was the guy that, he was a Nephite, and God told him to leave the Nephi camp. We don't really know why. And some people followed him, and he met these people called the Zarahemlas, and they were like, well, you're pretty cool, and you got plates, so why don't you be our king? He's like, cool, I'll be your king. And it was just weird, right? And so now we have a book of Mosiah, so I assume we're going to get more of his backstory now. All right, well, 10 minutes in, and I haven't even started reading, so let's do this. I got some catching up to do. Mosiah, chapter 1, verse 1. And now there was no more contention in all the land of Zarahemla, among all the people who belonged to King Benjamin, so that King Benjamin had continual peace all the remainder of his days. Well, now, hold on now. Benjamin was Mosiah's son, I thought, and so now this book is Mosiah, but he's already out of the picture, I assume. Like, I don't think Benjamin would be king if Mosiah was still alive. So that's, okay. Then it came to pass, drink, that he had 3 sons, and he called their names Mosiah, and Helorum, and Helaman. Helorum and Helaman. Those are some fine names. But it sounds like one of the sons' name is also Mosiah. Oh my God. Can we call him Mosiah Jr. or something just to keep him straight? So it sounds like Benjamin's father was Mosiah and one of his sons is Mosiah. So that'll be fun to keep track of. All right. And he caused that they should be taught in all the language of his fathers, that thereby they might become men of understanding, and they might know concerning the prophecies which they had been spoken by the mouths of their fathers, which were delivered them by the hand of the Lord. Careful, Benjamin, you can't get him too wise, because that is evil. We've learned that. So sure, teach him a little, but be careful. Be really careful. Don't teach him too much. And he also taught them concerning the records, which were engraven on the plates of brass, saying, My sons, I would that ye should remember that were it not for these plates, which contain these records and these commandments, we must have suffered in ignorance, even at this present time, not knowing the mysteries of God. Okay. So they're claiming that those plates have revealed the mysteries of God to them? Yeah, we read them too. And I don't know that all we know, the mystery of God that I would like revealed is why he likes burning things so much. That would be one mystery. Another would be, why did you create us defective, that they're going to hell by default? That'd be another mystery I would like answered. Anyway, for it were not possible that our father Lehi could have remembered all these things, to have taught them to his children, except it were for the help of these plates. For he having been taught in the language of the Egyptians, again, man, that's like an episode 1 callback. Why on earth was it written in Egyptian? This is weird. This is strange. I don't understand. And then why would Lehi speak Egyptian? Who taught him that? I don't know. I just don't understand that. All right. Therefore he could read these engravings and teach them to his children, that thereby they could teach them to their children, and so fulfilling the commandments of God even down to this present time. So I guess what I'm reading here is that for some reason they decided that writing on these plates should only be done in Egyptian, which I guess that's like hieroglyphic. I guess. And for some reason, I don't know why they wouldn't write it in Hebrew or Aramaic or whatever language they actually spoke then, right? No, let's write it in Egyptian. Okay. And now we have to make sure. Maybe what it was is that like only the prophets were allowed to actually read it or something like that, right? That might have been it. And so it's like you had to be taught how to read them, and so you kind of had the control. So it's not like everybody had the plates in their house, right? Maybe that's why. But either way, it's strange. Why Egyptian? Greek. I didn't pick anything, but Egyptian. Strange. Anyway. I say unto you, my sons, were it not for these things which have been kept and preserved by the hand of God, that we might read and understand of his mysteries, and have his commandments always before our eyes, that even our fathers would have dwindled in unbelief, and we should have been like unto our brethren, the Lamanites, who know nothing concerning these things, or even do not believe them when they are taught them, because of the traditions of their fathers, which are not correct. Well, there you have it. Without the plates, we'd be as terrible as the Lamanites. You can't have that. They're horrible. O my sons, I would that ye should remember that these things are true, and also that these records are true, and behold, also the plates of Nephi, which contain the records and the sayings of our fathers from the time they left Jerusalem until now. And they are true. By God, they're true. Don't doubt me. Well, how do you know they're true? Because they're true. Great. And we can know of their surety, because we have them before our eyes. Again with this stupid logic they have. All right, so here we go. All right, here's a record. Right, here's something written down. Okay, there it is. Sure, it's a story. Someone wrote a story. Yes. So I'm going to tell you that story, that's a true story. In every detail, it's true. And it's like, well, how do you know? This happened like hundreds of years ago. And it's like, well, of course it's true. And you're like, well, how do you know? And it's like, well, because it's written down. It's right there. Read it. It's true because it's right there. It's like, what? That's nonsense. It's not proof at all. I hate it. I hate it when they're like, the evidence that is real is that it's there. And you're like, what? What do you... okay, whatever. All right. And now, my sons, I would that ye should remember to search them diligently, that ye may profit thereby, and I that ye should keep the commandments of God, that ye may prosper in the land, according to the promises which the Lord has made unto our fathers. Wonderful. So, keep being good, and God will be good to you. Mm-hmm. And many more things did King Benjamin teach his sons, which are not written in this book. Great. I taught him more. I assume math of some kind. Anyway, and it came to pass, Drake, that after King Benjamin had made an end of teaching his sons, that he waxed old, and he saw that he must very soon go the way of the earth. Wait. He must very soon go the way of all the earth. Sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah, that's a weird way of saying die. They've had creative ways of saying die so far. I think my favorite one had to be the one where it's like he gave up the soul or whatever that was. That was awesome. Anyway, therefore he taught it expedient that he should confer the kingdom upon one of his sons. So he's like, oh my God, I'm going to die soon. I better start teaching fast. All right. Therefore he had Mosiah brought before him. And these are the words which he spake unto him, saying, My son, I would that ye should make a proclamation throughout all this land among all the people, or the people of Zarahemla, and the people of Mosiah who dwell in the land, that thereby they may be gathered together. For on the morrow I shall proclaim unto you this my people out of mine own mouth, that thou art a king, and a ruler over this people, whom the Lord our God hath given us. Wow, that was a jumble of words for Benjamin to say, hey, Mosiah, tomorrow I'm going to declare that you're my heir to the throne. Yeah, I just said that a lot faster than Benjamin did. Anyway, and moreover, I shall give this people a name, and thereby they may be distinguished above all people which the Lord God hath brought out of the land of Jerusalem. And this I do because they have been a diligent people in keeping the commandments of the Lord. And I give unto them a name that shall never be blotted out, except it be through transgression. Why else would it be blotted out? Really? So it's like, okay, God's got this book, and he's like writing down, all right, here we go. We have really good people right here. I'm going to write their name down. And it's like, what, later he's just like, nah, I'm in a bad mood. I'm going to blot them out. I just don't like them. It's like, of course they would have to, like, do something bad. So of course a transgression. It's such an obvious statement. Yea, drink, and moreover I say unto you, that if this highly favored people of the Lord should fall into transgression and become a wicked and adulterous people, that the Lord will deliver them up, and thereby they will become weak like unto their brethren, and he will no more preserve them by his matchless and marvelous power, and he hath hitherto preserved our fathers. Alright, so it sounds like God's out of the smiting business. He doesn't smite anymore. He's like, I'm out of matches. I'm just done. So now what he does is if you're righteous, then he makes sure you're strong. But if you start turning evil, then he makes you weak, right? So it's kind of like your enemies can't get you if you're righteous, but once God kind of lifts his veil of protection, you're on your own. You're going to get smacked down. So there you go. God kind of figured out, well, wait, there's enough people on earth now that I can stop smiting. I can just let them smite each other. That works. Yeah, that's even better. Less work for me. All right. For I say unto you, that if he had not extended his arm in the preservation of our fathers, they must have fallen into the hands of the Lamanites and become victims to their hatred. Awesome. And it came to pass, drink, that after King Benjamin had made an end of these sayings to his son, that he gave him charge concerning all the affairs of the kingdom. And moreover, he also gave him charge concerning the records which were engraven on the plates of brass, and also the plates of Nephi, and also the sword of Laban. Wow, he's getting everything. This guy, he's getting... So, Benjamin's giving his son, Mosiah, he's giving him all the plates, like a whole plate catalog, the brass ones, the Nephi ones, all of them, and the sword of Laban. The sword of Laban. Can you imagine? Wow. Let's see. And the ball or director, which led our fathers through the wilderness. There you go. The magic brass ball he's getting. Man, this guy's getting hooked up. Yeah, and by the way, so many people have tried to tell me that ball, like they call it, it's like, oh yeah, what's it, Liahona? Is that it? Liahona, I think. I'm probably saying it wrong. Liahona? Whatever. Yeah, everyone's like, oh yeah, the Liahona. And I'm like, for the first few times, I was like, well, what the hell is that? And people were like, well yeah, the brass ball. And I was like, yeah, I didn't call it. Where'd you get that name from? So it'd be interesting to see the first time that Liahona is referenced. Because so far they're just calling it, and the ball. There you go. Okay, so then the ball which led our fathers through the wilderness, which was prepared by the hand of the Lord, that thereby they might be led, everyone according to the heed and diligence which they gave unto him. There you go. So once again, Messiah's got he's got quite a gift. It's pretty much everything cool they had. Therefore, as they were unfaithful, they did not prosper nor progress in their journey, but were driven back, and incurred the displeasure of God upon them, and therefore they were smitten with famine and sore afflictions to stir them up in remembrance of their duty. Who's he talking about? It kind of sounds like he's referring to Levi. I did it again. I just said Levi. What did I used to call him? Knee-high? Now I call him Levi? That name is cursed. It is cursed. I can never remember that name right. Anyway, sorry. Lehi and his family, I guess that verse 17 there was about them. Because, unless they were talking about this people, but I don't know. Whatever. And also, wasn't it like a long time ago, he said he's going to give these people a name, but then he never, and it's like these people, and it's going to be written in God's book and all this stuff, but he never gave them the name. Well, what's their name? Are they still Zarahemla's? I don't know. But maybe we'll find out. And now it came to pass, Drake, that Mosiah went and did as his father had commanded him, and proclaimed unto all the people who were in the land of Zarahemla, that thereby they might gather themselves together to go up to the temple to hear the words which his father should speak unto them. And that is the end of chapter 1. Pretty boring one. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I'll tell you, I could have saved a ton of plates if I had been the one that was asked to abridge, because chapter 1 would have said, King Benjamin had 3 sons. He taught him how to read the plates. He then decided that his son Mosiah would be the heir, gave him all of the keys and treasures of the kingdom, and announced that he was the heir. Next. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 sentences, you know. Anyway, what are you going to do? Okay, and it came to pass, Drake, that after Mosiah had done as his father had commanded him, and had made a proclamation throughout all the land, and that all the people gathered together. Oh my God, this is so dumb. Yes, it's like the last verse of chapter 1 is the exact same as the first verse of chapter 2. Why do you do that? I mean, we don't need that. That's not a segue, repeating yourself. All right, all the people gathered themselves together throughout all the land, and they might go up to the temple to hear the words which King Benjamin should speak unto them. And there were a great number, even so many that they did not number them, for they had multiplied exceedingly and waxed great in the land. Well, there you go. You just can't count that high. And there's a bunch of people. How many? A lot. That's all I know. Ton. And they also took the firstlings of their flocks that they might offer sacrifice and burnt offerings according to the law of Moses. Nothing like slaughtering animals on the street and burning them. It was great. And also that they might give thanks to the Lord their God, who had brought them out of the land of Jerusalem, and who had delivered them out of the hands of their enemies, and had appointed just men to be their teachers, and also a just man to be their king, who had established peace in the land of Zarahemla, who had taught them to keep the commandments of God, that they might rejoice and be filled with love towards God and all men. This is boring. I mean, all of this to say, a bunch of people came to hear King Benjamin say that his son Mosiah is going to be the next king. My God, just get to it already. And it came to pass, Drake, that when they came up to the temple, they pitched their tents round about, every man according to his family, consisting of his wife, his sons, his daughters, their daughters, from the eldest down to the youngest. Every family being separate from another. What? That is the dumbest verse I think we've read so far. That was the most meaningless information. I actually think Lehi dwelt in a tent was better than this. This is like, so all these people came, right, with their families. Great. Oh, you don't know what a family is. Oh, okay. Well, it's like a husband, wife, some sons and daughters, some grandsons. Okay, you understand now? Yeah, that's family. Fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I just don't know what the point of that was. All right. And they pitched their tents round the temple, every man having his tent, with the door thereof towards the temple, that thereby they might remain in their tents and hear the words which King Benjamin should speak unto them. I don't know. Maybe it was raining, and so they're like, well, we don't want to go outside and listen. We don't actually be respectful and stand in front of our king and listen. Now we're just going to chill in our tent and make sure that we'll just listen from there. There you go. Isn't that fun? Weird. For the multitude being so great that King Benjamin could not teach them all within the walls of the temple, therefore he caused a tower to be erected, that thereby his people might hear the words which he should speak unto them. Yeah, I guess they didn't have any means of communication other than direct communication. Maybe King Benjamin should look into employing some town criers. That might help. Yeah, I think that would be helpful. So then he wouldn't have to, if you didn't hear it personally, directly from King Benjamin, that's not a thing. It just doesn't seem like a good system once you have a large population. Yeah, and it came to pass, Drake, that he began to speak to his people from the tower. And they could not all hear his words because of the greatness of the multitude. Yeah, see, Benjamin, you should have listened. Should have gone with the town crier approach, I'm telling you. Therefore he caused that the words which he spake should be written and sent forth among those who were not under the sound of his voice. And they might also receive his words. Well, you would have saved a bunch of people a lot of time, Benjamin, if you just started with that approach. Hey, I'm just going to make a proclamation, have it written down, and disseminate it amongst the people. There you go. But no. He's like, well, I want to tell everyone directly, but for those that didn't hear me, you'll get it in written form. That's just, seems like a waste of time. But anyway, a waste of time to talk about it. You should have just had it written and posted on the, city walls, and everyone would know. Anyway, and these are the words he spake, and caused it to be written, saying, My brethren, all ye that have assembled yourselves together, you that can hear my words which I shall speak unto you this day, for I have not commanded you to come up hither to trifle with the words which I shall speak. Okay, I'm going to stop for now, because it looks like he's going to go on for a long time, and I don't want to maintain that. So I'm going to go back to normal voice, but understand this is still, you have to have this image, big tower, King Benjamin on top, looking down, yelling at the top of his lungs, trying to reach as many people as he can, because I guess they're low on paper. He doesn't want to have to write it to too many people. All right. But that you should hearken unto me, and open your ears that you may hear, and your hearts that you may understand, and your minds that the mysteries of God may be unfolded to your view. So they do know that minds, because it's always like they're telling you to think in your heart, to search your heart. And I always make the joke, no, it just swimps blood. But now it sounds like they actually do know what minds are. So maybe they've started to understand the human body a little more. I have not commanded you to come up hither, that you should fear me, or that you should think that I of myself am more than a mortal man. All right? But I am like as yourselves, subject to all manner of infirmities in body and mind. Yet I have been chosen by this people, and consecrated by my Father, and was suffered by the hand of the Lord that I should be a ruler and a king over this people. Suffered by the hand of the Lord? It's a suffering to be a king? Yeah, I'm sure it is. And have been kept and preserved by his matchless power to serve you with all the might, mind, and strength which the Lord hath granted unto me. Good for you. So it's basically like, hey, I'm your king, so I'm in charge. I rule you. But, I'm just a dude. Did you not know that? Did you guys not know? I'm just a guy. I'm not God. I think they're all probably out there yeah, no one said you were, Benjamin. We know that you're a man, but thanks. I'm glad you know. I say unto you that I have been suffered to spend my days in your service. Oh, you poor, poor, poor man. You were king? Oh, that's awful. These people are living in tents and squalor, and there's this man in a palace. It's I'm suffering as your king. They're yeah, poor you. Even up to this time, and have not sought gold, nor silver, nor any manner of riches of you. He doesn't tax the people? Well, that's weird. That's a strange form of government. Anyway, neither have I suffered that ye should be confined in dungeons, nor that you should make slaves of one another, nor that you should murder, or plunder, or steal, or commit adultery. Well, I love that. I didn't ask you to murder, plunder, or steal, or commit adultery. That's awesome. Well, of course he didn't ask him to do that. Anyway, let me just finish this up. Nor even have I suffered that ye should commit any manner of wickedness. And I taught you that ye should keep the commandments of the Lord, and all things which he hath commanded you. So this is strange. He's we have no taxation. Okay, great. And also we have, it seems no real form of criminal justice, because there's no dungeons. Now, he's outlawed slavery, so that's cool. That's in the plus column, Benjamin. And then he's just but I told everybody to be good, so you are. That's why we don't need any law enforcement and no taxation, because we don't need law enforcement. So there you go. It sounds like utopia. It sounds unlikely to have actually existed, but hey, it sounds pretty cool. And even I myself have labored with mine own hands, that I might serve you, and that ye should not be laden with taxes, and that there should be nothing come upon you which was grievous to be borne. Oh, so he did tax them. Okay, there were taxes. It sounds like he kept the tax rate low. Kept it low. Oh, there you go. And all these things which I have spoken, ye yourselves are witnesses this day. So he's basically everything I just told you, you already know. And they're probably yeah, we do. Thanks. Yet, my brethren, I have not done these things that I might boast, neither do I tell these things that thereby I might accuse you, but I tell these things that ye may know that I can answer a clear conscience before God this day. Good for you, I guess. It's oh, Benjamin, you have a clear conscience. It's fantastic. That helps me how? Behold, I say, and my commentary here is always from the perspective of the dude in the tent, right? So I'm in a tent. I'm going to make sure the door is facing this tower. I'm listening to this guy just saying I am awesome. I've been a great ruler for you. And now my conscience is clear. And it's okay. Why am I here again? Right? Why did you ask me to travel here to listen to this speech? Behold, I say unto you that because I said unto you that I have spent my days in your service, I do not desire to boast. I'm telling you, I'm not rereading the last verse. It's just he's saying it again. For I have only been in the service of God. And behold, I tell you these things that ye may learn wisdom, and that ye may learn that when ye are in the service of your fellow beings, ye are only in the service of your God. Hey, all right, I'm giving Benjamin crap here, but that's a pretty good message, right? So it's the whole, what's the story, the parable of the lamb and the goats, I think, sheep and the goats, they go up to heaven, and the one side, I think it was the goats, were like, oh God, we were served you all the time. He's like, yeah, but you're a-holes to your fellow man, so you're going to hell. And then the other side was like, we didn't even know who you were, God. And he's like, yeah, but you helped out your fellow man, and so every time you did that, you were really helping me, so welcome to heaven. Something like that. I paraphrase the crap out of that, but it sounds like that's kind of what he's saying, like, treat each other well, and it's the same as treating God well. So that's a pretty good message. If you have to believe in God, that's a good way to believe in him, I think. So anyway, behold, ye have called me your king, and if I, whom ye call your king, do labor to serve you, then ought not ye to labor to serve one another. I don't know. That was weird. I don't know. Same thing. Help each other. Great. Behold also, if I, whom ye call your king, who hath spent his days in your service, and yet has been the service of God, do merit any thanks from you, oh, how you ought to thank your heavenly king. Okay. So he's like, listen, I know you thought I was helping you all this time, but I was really helping God. And so any good things that came to you, don't thank me, thank God, I guess. Weird. I say unto you, my brethren, that if you should render all the thanks and praise which your whole soul has power to possess, to that God who has created you, and has kept and preserved you, and has caused that ye should rejoice, and has granted that ye should live in peace with one another. All right. I say unto you that if ye should serve him who hath created you from the beginning, and is preserving you from day to day by lending you breath. That's great. Lending you breath. They thought every breath they took was a gift of God. And if God just changed his mind, you just stop breathing. That's great. He's lending you breath. Anyway, where were we? That ye may live and move and do according to your own will, and even supporting you from one moment to another. I say, if ye should serve him with all your whole souls, yet ye would be unprofitable servants. I don't get any of that. Whatever. And behold, all that he requires of you is to keep his commandments, and that he has promised you that if ye would keep his commandments, ye should prosper in the land, and never doth vary from that which he hath said. Therefore, if you do keep his commandments, he doth bless you and prosper you. So, okay, it sounds like there's only one thing that's important. One thing. And it isn't really like worrying about if you're doing the right thing. That's the wrong approach. It sounds like. So it's like, stop. You're sitting there trying to figure out the moral right thing to do in given situations. And he's saying the only thing that really matters is your blind obedience to the commandments. That's it. That's all that God cares about. You can do nice things, but if there wasn't a commandment telling you to do that nice thing, useless. Yeah, waste of time. But that's how it reads. So this is a great message. Blind obedience. That's all God cares about. But don't forget, you have free will. Yeah, you have free will to not be blind obedient. Whatever. That worldview is just really dangerous. And it's gotten people into trouble. Because there's so many things today. And people are like, that's an abomination, that's evil, blah. But it's like, if without that commandment that was written thousands of years ago in a culture that has nothing to do with ours, then they wouldn't say that. And the only reason that they have this moral belief that some things are wrong is because a book told them it is from forever ago. Anyway, I liked it before. He's changed his worldview. Because a minute ago, he's like, just treat each other well, and then you're doing right by God. And then like a few verses later, he's like, well, actually, I'm wrong about that. The only thing that God really cares about is blind obedience. All right, sorry, off the soapbox, coming back into the book. And now, in the first place, he hath created you and granted you your lives, for which ye are indebted to him. Well, there you go. You owe God a debt. Why? Because he created you. Oh, well, he didn't have to. And secondly, he doth require that ye should do as he hath commanded you. Blind obedience, I'm telling you. For which, if ye do, he doth immediately bless you, and therefore he hath paid you. What? And ye are still indebted unto him, and are, and will be, forever and ever. Therefore, of what have ye to boast? Never seen so many commas in my life. That was crazy. So yeah, you owe God because you exist, right? And if you follow his commandments, then he'll bless you. So it's like, well, he just paid you for following his commandments, so you still owe him, right? So you don't think that following his commandments paid off your debt. No, because you got blessings for that. So you still have a debt to pay. I don't know how you can pay it, but... And now I ask, can ye say aught of yourselves? Can ye say aught of yourselves? I don't know what that means. I answer you, nay. Well, there you go. Don't know what it meant, but the answer is no. Ye cannot say that ye are even as much as the dust of the earth. Yet ye were created of the dust of the earth, but behold, it belongeth to him who created you. He's like, you're just as useless as dust. God created dust and he created you. You're no better than dust. He's really stepping up the charm. And I, even I, whom ye call your king, am no better than ye yourselves are, for I am also of the dust. And ye behold that I am old, and am about to yield up this mortal frame to its mother earth. I'm telling you, every time they say die, it's like it's some other cool way of saying it. That's the one, if this book gets points for creative writing, they have come up with, I don't know, at least a dozen different ways of saying the word die. And that's kind of cool. Yield up this mortal frame to its mother earth. That's, come on, you gotta admit, that's kind of a cool way to say die. Not bad. I still like give up the soul, but that one wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Okay, therefore, as I said unto you that I had served you, walking with a clear conscience before God, even so I at this time have caused that ye should assemble yourselves together, that I might be found blameless. Okay, that your blood should not come upon me, when I shall stand to be judged of God of the things wherefore he hath commanded me concerning you. So he's like, I need you guys to vouch for me. I've been a pretty cool king. Come on. I'm about to die and go meet God. He needs to hear you guys say it. So this is, I need your support here, guys. Like, nod. Everybody nod. Been a good king? Okay. Thank you, God. See that? They're all nodding. All of them. That's great. That I might go down in peace, and that my immortal spirit may join the choirs above in singing the praises of a just God. That's great. Wouldn't that be wonderful? It's like, do you want to go to heaven when you die? What are we going to do? We're just going to sing praises constantly to God. Oh, that sounds lovely. Yeah. And moreover, I say unto you that I have caused that ye should assemble yourselves together again and again. Why does it keep repeating? Anyway, that I might declare unto you that I can no longer be your teacher nor your king. Finally, the point of this assembly. Everyone there is probably just like, what's your point? Finally, he's getting to it. For even at this time, my whole frame doth tremble exceedingly while attempting to speak unto you. He's like, it's really hard for me to say this to you guys because I'm so old. And they're like, well, then get to the freaking point, man. Why? You want us to feel sorry for you? You're the one that keeps babbling on. All right, but the Lord God doth support me, and he hath suffered me that I should speak unto you, and hath commanded me that I should declare unto you this day that my son Mosiah is a king and ruler over you. Whew, finally, the point. Okay, and now, my brethren, I would that ye should do as ye have hitherto done. Okay, so keep doing what you're doing, and ye have kept my commandments. That's interesting. I thought before they were talking about like God's commandments and the plates of brass, but it sounds like when he was talking about keeping commandments, Benjamin was talking about his commandments. I don't know if they're the same or not, but now he's calling them my commandments. And also the commandments of my Father, and have prospered and have been kept from falling into the hands of your enemies. Even so, if ye shall keep the commandments of my Son, or the commandments of God, I love the commandments of God are last on that list. Isn't that great? So you better keep my commandments, my dad's commandments, and my son's commandments, and, and God's too. That's great. Which shall be delivered unto you by him. Ye shall prosper in the land, and your enemies shall have no power over you. Oh, poor enemies, no power. But, O my people, beware lest there should arise contentions amongst you, and ye list to obey the evil spirit, which was spoken of by my father Mosiah. If you're evil, here comes the warning. For behold, there is a woe pronounced upon him who listeth to obey that spirit. For if he listeth to obey him, and remaineth and dieth in his sins, the same drinketh damnation to his own soul. For he receiveth for his wages an everlasting punishment, having transgressed in the law of God, contrary to his knowledge. All right, there you go. I'm going to hell. I'm going to tell you. I say unto you that there are not any among you, except it be your little children, that have not been taught concerning these things, but what knoweth that ye are eternally indebted to your heavenly Father, to render to him all that you have and are, and also have been taught concerning the records which contain the prophecies which have been spoken by the holy prophets, even down to our time of our father Lehi left Jerusalem. Oh my God. I love that he's like bragging about how hard it is for him to say all this stuff, but he just keeps going and going and going. That's great. Yeah, I don't know. I was just reading. I zoned out. What was he saying? I don't know. Basically, he just said, you guys already all know this stuff, except for like the babies. They haven't been taught yet, but the rest of you all know this already. It's like, well, then why are you saying it again? Shut up. All right, and also, all that has been spoken by our fathers until now. And behold also, they spake that which was commanded them of the Lord, therefore they are just and true. Okay, so because our fathers claim that God told them that, it must be true. It must be true. Although it all started from some guy's dreams. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like God literally came down and was like, Lehi, I have a message for you. You know, no. Just Lehi would just go to sleep, have a wacky dream, and he'd wake up and be like, whoa, oh my God, Babylonians are coming. Like, what are you talking about? It's a dream, dude. Calm down. But just and true. There you go. Must be true, because Lehi dreamed it. And now I say unto you, my brethren, that after ye have known and have been taught all these things, if ye should transgress and go contrary to that which has been spoken, that ye do withdraw yourselves from the Spirit of the Lord, that it may have no place in you to guide you in wisdom's path, that ye may be blessed, prospered, and preserved. Blah. Be good, guys. Everybody be good. Don't be bad. I say unto you that the man that doeth this, and doeth, and same cometh out in open rebellion against his God, therefore he listeth to obey the evil spirit, and becometh an enemy of all righteousness, therefore the Lord has no place for him, for he dwelleth not in unholy temples. All right. So if you become evil, God's going to turn his back on you. You're on your own. Therefore, if that man repenteth not, and remaineth and dieth an enemy to God, that demands of divine justice to awaken his immortal soul to a lively sense of his own guilt, which doth cause him to shrink from the presence of the Lord, and doth fill his breast with guilt, and pain, and anguish, which is like an unquenchable fire, whose flame ascendeth up for ever and ever. Huh. Is that so? Wait, is hell metaphorical? Maybe. Sounds like it. Because this kind of said, if you're evil, and you'll feel so guilty about being evil that you'll just like shrink from the presence of the Lord, and that guilt will feel like an unquenchable fire forever. Huh. I wonder. So do they think there's a literal big lake of fire that you're burning in, or is it just like, man, you're gonna feel like crap forever? You're just gonna feel miserable. That's hell. I don't know. And now I say unto you that mercy hath no claim on that man. Therefore his final doom is to endure a never-ending torment. Yeah, again, is that a torment like emotional torment or fire? I don't know. I mean, neither one of them are really going to happen, so whatever. I'm just curious what they believe, that's all. O all ye old men, and all ye young men, and all ye little children who can understand my words. That's great. Old people, young people, children. Why don't you just say, hey, everybody, save yourself some time. Well, I guess not everybody. It's like guys. Women, don't listen. Actually, are they even there? I don't know. Oh, yeah, they were, because remember it said the whole family game. Anyway. For I have spoken plainly unto you, that ye might understand. I pray that ye should awake to a remembrance of the awful situations of those that have fallen into transgressions. So, everybody, pray. Great. Will do. And moreover, I would desire that ye should consider on the blessed and happy state of those that keep the commandments of God. For behold, they are blessed in all things, both temporal and spiritual, and if they hold out faithfully to the end, they are received into heaven, that thereby they may dwell with God in a state of never-ending happiness. Oh, all right, another little detail about heaven. It's never-ending happiness. Well, there you have it. Oh, remember. Why on earth did it say that twice? Oh, remember, remember. Interesting. That these things are true. For the Lord God hath spoken it. To who? Who? Who heard the Lord God speak that? King Benjamin, you're standing up there saying, the Lord God said. To you? Can we all hear it? Could he just come down here and give the message? I love it when they make those claims. Like we're supposed to just glance over that. These are true because the Lord said it. It's like, yes, amen. It's like, no, not amen. But can you make some detail to describe how the Lord said it? Never. They never tell you. All right. My God, only 2 chapters of Mosiah. But you know what? Got a bit of a late start to the reading today because I had to just sit down and beg for your support, quite frankly. It's, so yeah, I'm really hopeful that the Mimos are going to step up and help make sure that the show can keep going forever and ever. I'm not, this isn't like some kind of threat where it's like, if I don't get to my goal, I'm not going to make another episode. It's nothing like that. It really isn't. This is an ask. I'm asking for your help. It's difficult. I don't know. There may reach a point. I'm not going to lie. If this show just keeps growing in terms of number of people listening, which I love. I mean, I'm so excited about that. But it might reach a point where I'm like, I actually can't afford this anymore. Right now I can. It's a ton of money. It's more than I dreamed I would have to pay. That's why I'm asking. All right. So I'm going to stop talking about it. So once again, if you want to become a patron of the show, earn my gratitude and some other cool rewards that I've thought up, www.patreon.com/mybookofmormonpodcast. All right. Well, if you wanted to just send me an email to send some corrections, or if you just wanted to say hi, say thanks, whatever you want to say, tell me you think I'm terrible, it's comments@mybookofmormonpodcast.com. You can always go to the website, which is www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com. Again, posts continue to get slapped on there, so all the Mimos just love to add their own commentary to the show there. So the website, I've been so excited, just kind of has a life of its own, so it's been great. And lastly, you can follow me on Twitter at mybookofmormonpod. No, sorry, messed that up. Ugh. I hate the Twitter, it didn't let me have enough characters to use my Book of Mormon podcast. So Twitter handle is at mybookofmormon. And then there's the Facebook page too. It's Facebook/My Book of Mormon podcast. So, okay, that's all the different stuff. Everybody already knows that. I don't know why I have to keep repeating it. You know it. Maybe we should just say, like, we should make a word that's just like all the social media stuff, right? And it's just all that. Anyway, so that's that. I know I already mentioned this, but I will be on this Thursday's episode of Scathing Atheist. So actually, it should be coming out the same day as this episode. Yeah, so that's coming. That should be exciting. Noah's a great guy. Great time talking to him. And then I'm also supposed to be on some show called Thought Prophets or Prophet Cast. I can't remember. One of those. I admit, don't tell them, but I've never actually watched it, so I need to do that. I think that we're doing that on Sunday. We're recording it Sunday. I don't know when it's released, so I'll find out. I'll give you more details next episode about that. Yeah, sorry. Don't tell them. I haven't watched their show yet. I will. I'm going to do it. Okay. All right, so that's it for now. Mimos, you become a part of my life, and I'm grateful to all of you. And so for the last time, or at least today, I will ask for your support. And thank you in advance for everything that you've already done and everything that I know that you'll be able to do to help to make sure the show keeps going. So, all right, that is it. Episode 20, done. Signing off. Goodbye. This song is licensed for use within this podcast. All song and copyright information can be found at www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com.